I've been making a multiplayer video game for the last year. My biggest regret is waiting this long to start documenting its progress to the audience that will actually be playing it. But let's not waste any time and get right into it. This game spawned from a completely different project called Eviction. It was basically just a Garten of Banban or Granny styled game, where you would go through very simple environments doing the most mundane of tasks, basically just fetch quests, with the entire design around the game being the monsters that I was not capable of making look interesting, so they were just a bunch of cubes. So yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking, and eventually it clicked to me that even if I managed to complete this game, I wouldn't even have fun with it. I don't like those kinds of games, they're boring to me. My escape to this issue was to begin a multiplayer game mode to Eviction. You can probably tell where I'm going with this. In said game mode, players would rush through procedurally generated office floors to find an elevator at the end, finding items and weapons around the floor to defend themselves from the monsters, going further and further until eventually every player in the lobby was dead. Now, this was pretty cool. It was a much better idea that actually seemed kind of fun. Basically a Black Ops Zombies-esque second game mode to go along with the main game. But after a couple of months of working on this, it kind of clicked to me that I had completely lost any aspirations to go back to the main project. And that honestly making a multiplayer video game was just so much more fun to me. Of course, at that point, I was still not anywhere near it. Multiplayer is really difficult to get set up. The first month or two of making a video game multiplayer is probably the hardest part, as once your foundation is set up, it is so easy to figure it out. I followed a tutorial series on YouTube to get the very basic setup, and once that was implemented, I started just figuring out how to program with netcode. With Eviction long behind me, I knew that I was going all in on this new project. And another game coming out around this time also made me realize that a multiplayer video game was definitely the way to go. But this also made me rethink my gameplay idea. It was good, but it would probably get boring after not very long. So I decided to replace the office buildings where you would just start with a drill. You would use the drill to venture through caves. What the fuck? Walking around until you found teleporters that would teleport you inside the building. And as a placeholder, I added a goal where in those buildings you would find folders. Bringing them back to your drill and crunching them in this machine would contribute towards your goal. This was a big mistake for me, because one of my biggest issues is that I tend to struggle to see when something is supposed to be a placeholder. I implement something as just like a piece of gameplay for us to do while there's cooler stuff being made, and then I hold on to it. I try to expand on it and make it interesting so it could be the whole game, when in reality it's just boring. It'd be a fetch quest, that's it, there's nothing to it. There's not even different things to fetch, it's just folders. And honestly, the whole drill thing with caves started becoming really restrictive. They were always just way too big. I took one more attempt to make an interesting level out of the cave aesthetic, and it was the final straw for me. I knew I needed to replace it. So I replaced the drill with a pelican ship that would fly down into the map. And because it flew down into the map and wasn't grounded, this meant that the maps could be anything. They could be canyons, they could be volcanoes, they could be mountains, they could be barnyards, they could be giant broken down cities. This was just so much cooler to me than the super simple cave aesthetic that was really difficult to design for. So, terrain. Terrain is so much better for me. I can hand sculpt and paint and use reference tools like an actual player to see how big an environment is. I can even drop the ship in there so that I can see how big the ship is compared to where it's landing. My first attempt with this new setup were the trenches. And, it is so much better than anything else I have created. I then immediately ditched terrain and created a depot map set off the shore of whatever ocean. It's just a bunch of shipping containers, but it's honestly a much better map design, and it's just so cool to me. But I should probably talk about the monsters of the game. Of course, the monsters existed way long before where I'm talking about now, but I don't know, I couldn't really wedge them in. My first monster idea that I implemented after the big change to the drill were these things. They're called broadcasters. They're basically just Forest Giants clones. And, yeah, they kind of suck. The second enemy I implemented was a dude with a bomb strapped to his chest that would follow you around and then jump on you and hold you until the bomb goes off. But I could never get him to work, and over many updates and changes, he became outdated until he eventually kind of just fell into obscurity. There are several other enemies that I worked on, such as the Jet Rider, or the Quailer, or whatever this thing is. But a lot of them tended to have one big issue. They were boring. They were very, very boring. They all had this one core flaw where their gameplay devolved into they wander around until something triggers them, they start chasing after you, and you can't get away from them. The only way to get them off of you is to either teleport outside if you're inside, or teleport inside if you're outside. Which is really lame, as if you're deep into the building or you're very far from a safe point outside, you just kind of die. I've been yapping for almost 7 minutes straight, so I think it's finally time you get a taste of someone else. This is Vernon. He's been around since the very beginning of Eviction's development and has been very helpful. Take it away.
I've been with the game since it was called Eviction, where there was the really weird lore thing, and the multiple endings, and just here and there being some weird choices. But yeah, I still supported it, and thought that it was so cool to see it change every day. When I heard the news that it was going to be in a different direction, I was skeptical. It was basically just going to be a whole new start, a whole new project, and everything that I've already seen was going to be gone. But it's just weird seeing like how much has improved. What used to just be filled with pre-made assets, God, this stupid plug head, I remember it so vividly. Now, if you look at the game, it's all homemade stuff. Like the environments, the characters, even the cosmetics. I don't remember when it was, but one day, I get a notification from Pug saying to join call. I had nothing else to do, so I joined the Discord call. I remember him saying something like, I need your help concepting something. Something like that, it's not exactly what it was. But anyways, I opened a drawing website and got to concepting some stuff. I thought it was cool that in the next few hours, to maybe even the next day, it was already in the game. Even now, years later, still doing the same thing, it's pretty crazy to see artwork and concepts I've come up with in the game. I'm excited to see what this game is going to look like when it's done, and I'm excited to be supporting it for the whole time, and overall just glad to be a big help and supporter for it. From concepting to just playing the game, looking for bugs, it's been great.
But with monsters, cosmetic system, a ship, and whatever else in the game, I think the game is looking pretty good. There's not that many bugs, and if I walk into the ship, what? Yep. Oh, whoa. Ah! So, you're looking at a bug that kicked my ass for like 5 months. This bug persisted through so many, changes and efforts to fix it. I just couldn't get it to go away. I did not quite catch you up on everything that has happened up to today. There's a lot more content that I could go into, and if you're interested in a part 2 to this video, please like and subscribe.
mandible. Oh, fuck, what the hell is that thing? Alright, you keep eyes on the mandible.
Oh, you want to see another? You want to see another new feature?
Oh,
Whoa!
you did not keep eyes on the mandible!
You touched it. You ran into it. That doesn't. It doesn't matter what I do if you run into it. Into it. Oh god!
Why is there just like a dog on this little lava island? Like, dude.
Jesus Christ, he's so fast. I buffed his speed. He's crazy fast. Wait, can I stun you?